had many authors. I guess Amory Lovins is the chief author, but then he had a lot of help too with the staff. But I'm going to say you. You know, one of the things that you say in the book, you talk about savvy customers, and I heard you talk about that tonight. And you know, I don't feel too savvy about these things, and I wonder, Arun, do you find more and more savvy customers in your business with transportation and the electric vehicle?
Sure. You know, awareness is huge, because I did notice there's a Tesla Roadster parked outside and a Nissan Leaf, so you know the movement is catching on, right? And just to kind of set the context, I do want to talk about three major issues before getting to the specifics of electric vehicles, and those are really cost, environment, and national security. And from a cost perspective, it's really a change in how we look at things. I mean, there's already research studies that have been done out there that looked at a Nissan Leaf versus a Chevy Volt versus Toyota Prius hybrid and other vehicles. And if you look at the total cost of ownership over 5 years, so not just the sticker price, but the cost of maintenance and the cost of fuel, the Nissan Leaf already today at $3 a gallon gas is the cheapest form of transport. It's cheaper than a Toyota Prius, it's cheaper than any other car. But nobody buys a car still today looking at, you know, making all these calculations about a total cost ownership. So from a cost perspective, you're already there, right? From an environmental perspective, these are zero emissions vehicles. And the immediate question is, okay, what fuels the car? Now, even if that electric vehicle was fueled by 100% coal, which is not the case anywhere in the United States today, there's still less than half as much emissions as a comparative gasoline fuel car. Okay, with your typical U.S. grid, it's half of half. Okay, now in Texas, we're very fortunate. Most of the electric vehicles are charged at night. Texas, we have more wind than any other state. We have more than 10,000 megawatts. And in fact, that price at night is actually a negative price. Wind farms have to actually pay to generate. So you've got a really nice correlation of nighttime wind and nighttime charging. So more than likely, your electric vehicle may actually be 100% zero emissions, because even the wind power is zero emissions, right? And the third is national security. You know, one of the factors I really love is from Rand Corporation, where they looked at what is the cost that we spend as a nation just protecting our oil lanes. And that is $75 billion a year. Not to fight any battles, no wars or anything of the sort, just to keep our oil lanes open. We spend $75 billion a year. And what are the folks in Washington right now yelling about? We spend $1 billion a year right now in subsidizing electric vehicles in the form of a $7,500 tax credit. Okay, $1 billion a year. So I just wanted to kind of paint that picture. And right now, where the state of the industry is, there's very little awareness about electric vehicles, right? Most people still think about it as golf cars. And we've done a lot of surveys, you know, of people who go to auto shows, things of the sort. And we ask people, how many of you would even consider buying an electric vehicle? And the typical answer is maybe around 10%. And we've spent a lot of actually time and effort the last year kind of going around with our EVgo tent and a couple of electric vehicles, a couple of chargers, and network map, all of that, how all this thing works. And we've done a lot of post surveys. And that number, when we ask the same question, how many of you would even consider buying an electric vehicle, that jumps to something like 55 to 60%. So I think we're in a state of industry right now where public awareness is huge, but I've yet to find a customer of ours who has regrets about buying an electric vehicle.